recording is all about having good sound quality. So the sound quality is very important in properly getting a correct mix. A lot of people think about music in terms of it being good lyrically, sonically, but the most important thing is the right mix. If you don't mix it right, it doesn't sound right, whether it's your phone speaker, car speaker, studio speakers. So the biggest, most important thing is the mix. As you can see, I got two pairs of stereos. I got a Bluetooth speaker, multiple headphones, all to hear different sounds, all to hear different wavelengths, frequencies. Because it all depends. Some people listen on their phone, in their car, in the headphones at school. You gotta make it sound good on every level. As a child, I was focused on being a child and nothing more, nothing less. Even though every summer I was in the fields picking berries, working hard, making money, taking care of my family, making money for my family. But it never dawned to me that I was gonna grow out of being a child. I guess that's why I make music now. They say the artist is the person with the child that never died inside them. I want to put that on record right now that the only reason I'm doing music is because of my older brother. Growing up, on the radio, all you heard was Soulja Boy, maybe Chingy, a little bit of T-Pain. You know, it was early 2000s, so picture that time frame. Think about the music that was out. That's what was surfacing through the radio. That's what all my friends were listening to, kids older than me. But my big brother has always been one to go and find out his own sound and his own taste. And growing up, he would feed me a lot of hip-hop 80s and 90s albums, and he would tell me, this is where hip-hop originated from. This is the start of it. It's moved its way to what it is now. I'm referring to the 2000s. But in the moment, he was showing me 90s music, and he showed me, just to name some names, he showed me Wu-Tang when I was about 8 years old, Nas, Big L, A Tribe Called Quest, Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill. Headphones, I was listening to, something like X Factor from Lauryn Hill, or I was listening to, some Low End Theory from A Tribe Called Quest. And feel free to look these songs up. That's what I was, taking in as a young kid. And ever since then, I've always been aware that with music, there's a message. It doesn't have to be about the message, but you will hit certain people's hearts when you try to go for a message, because then those things will live with them forever. Like certain songs have lived with me forever. Rap and hip hop, it's truth, and a lot of people don't recognize that in these poor communities, bad things happen on a daily basis, and you have to get used to it. You see your friend get shot in front of you. You will see someone get robbed. You will see someone get jumped. And those things, whether it's good to listen to or not, it's the truth. I was listening to Mobb Deep, Nas, Big L, Wu-Tang, and they would talk about these things. And the reason it resonated with me is because we grew up around those things. We knew violence. We knew danger. And it's not to boast or brag, it's just that's the card you were dealt. And you're either going to be afraid of it or see the beauty in it. I've been working my whole life. Like I said, I've been having hundreds of dollars since I was a little kid. And, that's what makes me different. I'm not trying to do it for the music. I'm not trying to do it for the fame. I'm doing it for the young me that never got to express.
I'm a big believer in the power of media full of these cliches that basically present mostly black and brown folks as sort of like animals and cages, and then someone can turn off the TV thinking, Louis, it's a good thing for prisons, because otherwise those crazy people will be popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a fucking little village. I mean, I grew up with my cousins side by side. We shared everything. So I lived in about 8 neighborhoods growing up. So I wouldn't say I had a neighborhood. I was kind of just on the streets all day, wherever I could be kicking at, wherever I could stay at. It doesn't really matter wherever I was. How has systemic oppression impacted your youth? Well, first off, a lot of people don't know what systematic oppression means. It means just recognizing that the system is set up to oppress you in a certain way that you may not know you're aware of. I always knew we were in a position of oppression as a young kid, because when I would go into a store by myself, they'd follow me around because they assume I steal. Everyone assumes I was an illegal immigrant. When it comes to getting opportunities or chances, I'm just overlooked first because they think I don't have the means of getting those things done. Did it impact my youth? Of course. I mean, it taught me that I could be the best, knowledgeable, scholarist, most appropriate, most well-mannered person in the room. But the second they see my skin, it's just gonna put me in a position of understanding that this oppression is lifelong. If you see me walk into the room, your own prejudice and experience is what causes you to be afraid of someone like me or uncomfortable. But it didn't impact me though, because when you get stared like you're dangerous, you assume that danger and you take it as a compliment rather than something negative. I don't want a kid to be out here thinking, wow, why are people looking at me, or why does the employee follow me around the store, why do they lock their door when I walk by? It's just because through that oppression and through that systematic ways of thinking, people have been conditioned to be scared of people of color, kids with hoodies, you know. And that's why I need it to be known, because I don't want them to feel like just because they see you as dangerous, don't mean you gotta be dangerous. They'll grow out of that. There'll be more of us in the future eventually, so. How does that come up in your music? I have a song actually, it's called Buzz. And it's in the background I put ad-libs, specifically from a documentary where it goes into the 13th Amendment that allows slavery still to occur in America as long as they're imprisoned. And 3 out of 4 black men in their life once will go to jail, 2 out of 4 Hispanics. In the 70s and 80s, during the crack epidemic, the only people who were being put in jail at alarming rates were black and brown people. I have that song, it's called Buzz. If you hear the background of it, it's pretty much truth later on revealed into the future that admits that the Reagan administration was purposely targeting black and Latino and hippie communities because they were on the verge of a different kind of thinking process that would disrupt the overall government and the way it flows, the way of life, the way we think. I try to always put that in my music. We're thinkers. We're doers, but we're thinkers. We're hustlers, but we're also knowledgeable. You know, we're wise. We're scholars. You can be a hustler. You can be thug and gangster, and still be respectable and knowledgeable. How do you feel about the artist scene in Portland? I had this conversation a lot. There's a lot of artists in Portland, and they're really good and they're very talented, and they have their own unique style and their way of expressing it. I like it. I appreciate it. But the city of Portland as itself doesn't really want to blow up. We're known for our slogan is "Keep Portland Weird," and they want to do just that. They don't want famous people. They don't want cool people. They don't want, not to say that cool people and famous people are the same. They just want to stay uncomfortable. They want to make people uncomfortable, and it's kind of hard to blow up out of Portland. The only people you guys know of is Amine, and he was here for like a year or 2 and then left, never came back. Understandable. You know, I dropped my first song when I was like 23. Yeah, but before that I was just in studios and sessions and helping people with ideas, and you know, if I like this sound, I like this sound. If we can fix that verse around, we'll fix it. But I wasn't making music in that moment. That's how I got into the music scene, though. I was practically a producer and just a helper before I was ever even an artist. But we're all artists in our own way, so yeah.